issues this morning, but we are going to go for round 3. Hopefully this one works. Good morning. It's Stacey Heine, your holistic nutritionist, and I'm here chatting with Taylor from TD Nutrition this morning. We are talking about protein, and hopefully you find this conversation interesting and enlightening and inspiring so that you can take control of your health and your wellness through what you eat. Good morning. We're going to get Taylor on about protein this morning. We hope that you find this conversation enlightening. And we've had some connection issues already going on, so we're going to try to get that fixed. Taylor, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
Oh my goodness gracious, the third time's always the charm. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
It's 11 o'clock here, so I know it's like early for you. I'm like into my day, and we are talking about protein this morning. So I'm so excited to meet you.
I know, it's nice to meet you as well.
I love social media. We get to pull together so many cool humans, and this is a really fun time to collaborate and connect as we are talking about the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. So while I get that link pinned, Taylor, do you have any like favorites that have been in the Raw Vegan Bundle that you've looked through so far at all? There's so much. I feel like I haven't been able to look through everything.
Yeah, same. I haven't looked through everything, but I definitely have been making the wraps.
Oh
Lissa's
my
wraps.
God, same here.
Yeah, they are
They're so good.
Yeah, I mean that book alone is like 180 pages. So like it's like, okay, I've just like barely looked through all of that. So I have to really sit down and go through everything still. So.
I mean, I saw that Nate was actually saying that it's taken Lissa like 10 years or something like that to like actually get this entire thing put together. I'm thinking like, why doesn't this woman like spiral bound it and sell it? Like this needs to be like, everybody needs these because they are full of healthy omega-3 fats. Like they're like, you can do the more savory ones, right? Like the honey I love mustard. That was the first one that I made. Oh my husband's mind was like blown off. He was like, what? That was so good.
Yeah.
And then I've done like the V8 and I want to do everything but the bagel probably today. They've been giving me so much energy. We get fruits and vegetables and like, it's just a beautiful thing. So I'm glad you've been experimenting with them too, because I've become a wrap freak over
I know.
here.
And I've always wanted to do wraps. So, and they're kind of hard to figure out. So I'm glad someone else did because I was like, I don't know where to start. So.
They really are, and I feel like for somebody who doesn't live a raw lifestyle fully all the time, I eat plant all the time, right? And I get a lot of my fuel from like starchy carbohydrates, like sweet potatoes, whole grains, beans. But these wraps, they give me enough energy on raw that I feel like I could totally succeed, because they're kind of calorie dense, but you can fill them with lower caloric density fillings. I've been filling mine with like sprouted lentils for extra protein, and I'm just super thrilled with them. So we're talking about protein this morning, and you are like the master on protein. So you've contributed a protein resource for those who buy the Raw Vegan Bundle. And just a reminder to those who are watching and listening, Taylor and I are in a collaborative effort of humans across the globe that are wanting to help people's health, elevate their existence through healthy eating. And I have like a resource. I'm calling it a resource because it's not like an ebook. It's like a link to a document that's living and breathing so that you guys can access recipes. I have 29 recipes in there now. And then we have a little bit of science at the beginning of it. It's called the Raw Food Reset, letting people know just like what happens to your body when you eat food and how it gives you energy and how we need it. And then you, Taylor, are talking all about protein because I think this is such a topic that people are still fixated on. And what can you tell us about protein and getting enough protein on plants and even raw plants, if that's what we choose to do?
Yeah. So protein essentially is just amino acids bound up. That's what protein is. It's not the protein exactly we need, it's the amino acids. And then protein really is so important that nature has made it impossible not to get enough protein if you're eating enough food in the day. That's really what it boils down to. If you're eating an adequate amount of calories and nourishing yourself enough, you will get enough protein without even trying or thinking about it. Like, that's kind of like the most watered down, simple way of putting it. And so because protein's in everything, it's gonna be in fruits and vegetables. In my book specifically, I focus mostly on fruits. And so like I have, my favorite part of the book is I have a whole section on the non-essential and essential amino acids. And I list all of them. And then I list what fruits have that amino acid, from the fruit that contains the most of it to the fruit that contains the least of it. But obviously vegetables contain protein too. So just because I'm addressing fruits in the book does not mean I'm like saying vegetables don't have protein, because they absolutely do. But I just took a little bit more of like a fruit centered approach, mostly because that's how I fuel my workouts and all of the activities that I do. At least, you know, because I typically work out in the morning and I'm eating fruits all day until dinner, essentially.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that if we are open-minded enough as like wellness practitioners, or even just people who are consuming this information that we're putting out there and consuming nutritional data on a normal basis, we could probably all agree that we can get protein in several different ways, right? Like there are different ways, and we aren't here to say that one is right or wrong, but there are some benefits from getting protein from plants. I love it how you're focusing on fruit, and you actually show people that you can build muscle with fruit. Can you explain how that's even possible?
Yes. So our muscles really need three things. They need amino acids, they need glucose, and they need mineral salts, which is naturally occurring sodium that's in fruits and vegetables. Glucose arguably is probably what they need the most of. I mean, some people might say it's the amino acids, but I mean, really, our muscles do need glucose. That's going to allow us to have the energy to run that distance or lift that weight. And by having the energy to lift the weight is going to allow your body to then put on that muscle tone that you're looking for. So sometimes, you know, people will question, well, you're saying fruit builds muscle? Like, how is that possible? So no, fruit doesn't inherently build muscle. Like, I'm not going to just eat all my fruit and sit here and do nothing and all of a sudden have muscle tomorrow. Like, I actually have to work the muscle. And that goes with, you know, any type of diet you're eating. You have to work the muscle to have it. Fruit just provides the perfect tools and resources for the muscle to get stronger and build that tone that you're looking for. And obviously how you structure your workout will determine, you know, are you going to, you know, do you want longer lean muscles? Are you looking for more bulky muscles? The exercises you do will determine that. But fruit definitely has all that amazing glucose that our muscles need. And that's really what it boils down to. That's why they are so amazing for athletes. And most people are just so afraid to make that transition away from protein shakes or even high protein and relying on fruits, because they're so afraid that they're going to lose their strength or lose their gains. But you won't.
Yeah. So I have a question. So do you think that for athletes, because I have several people in my life that are like, maybe they're doing CrossFit, they do CrossFit competitions, you know, they're trying to go for their PRs, and like, what do you think about combining? Like, you know, they're more on like high fat, high protein, super low carbohydrate. They're only allowed by their coaches like very small amounts of carbohydrate, like right before a competition or whatever. Now, do you think that can be both? Like, do you think that the combination of the fat and the high carbohydrate would work for people? Or do you think that we need to be choosing like one or the other? Like either, you know, focusing on higher fat and more vegetation, or more high fruit and vegetation as well. But do you think there's a good combination there, like for training, or do you think that we should probably be kind of choosing one or the other?
So I think you should be really choosing one or the other. If you're going to try to do like high carb or high fruit and high fat, then you're going to start dealing with blood sugar issues and potential insulin resistance, and possibly like, you know, A1C issues, because fats really block the absorption of the glucose. And so if you have too much fat in your bloodstream, the glucose from the fruits is going to have nowhere to go. So You really got to pick one or the other. In my research and in my opinion, high fat ends up having a lot more negative effects down the road. I've also personally went through that. I tried to go keto years ago and my health totally tanked and I hit rock bottom. So I typically don't recommend high fat really for anybody. Plus, because fats are so dehydrating, they take so much effort for our body to break them down for really not a lot of nutrients. They're not nutrient dense. Of course, we need omegas. I'm not denying that. But we don't need to be having tons of fats to get all, to get what we need as far as omegas and stuff go. And fats and high protein, and also a lot of protein sources also contain fat, whether it's plant-based or, animal-based, but they're dehydrating to the body, as I'm sure you know. And I like to call it the raisin effect, where when you're eating so high fat or so high protein that your body is becoming shriveled and dehydrated, and so your skin starts to really shrink wrap to your muscle. So it may look like, oh wow, like you're so lean and cut, but really your body's just shriveled and dehydrated because you're not having anything that's deeply hydrating, like fruits or vegetables. And maybe you're having a little bit, but not enough to compensate for all the dehydration of the protein and the fat. So
yeah, that's super interesting, and I like that raisin effect. That's good. That's good. I love like analogies and things that we can kind of like paint a bigger picture for people so that they can, like what's happening from the inside out. I think that's super important. And I will just mention also, Taylor, like, again, like I said, I don't live fully raw. That's not like my lifestyle. I do live fully plant-based. It's been a total journey over like 13 years, of like processed junk and, like making all the cupcakes from the vegan cupcake book, like macrobiotic. Like I never really did go low key, or I never really did do keto, except like prior to that, like when my now husband and I were taking like weight loss pills and trying to like eat these bars and crap. Like it was just, I didn't need to lose weight. I just needed to drop the inflammation. I was on this terrible, inflammatory, dairy rich, processed food, super high animal protein diet. I felt like absolute hell. I felt absolutely horrible. But anyway, I also just recently, I love it how you mentioned that I think it needs to be one or the other. Like, I was listening to Dr. Cyrus Kambata from Mastering Diabetes on the Real Truth About Health conference. And this was just a few days ago, and he was talking about, for insulin sensitivity, we need to choose one or the other. We actually need to, and that's what the data is showing us. And for me, I mean, the fruit gives me more energy. And like I've been saying, again, I don't live this way fully, but I have been the last like week or two. My energy levels are like skyrocketing. My hydration levels, right? Like I harp to my clients all the time. I'm like, if you're not properly hydrated, you have 30% less energy than you could. And now I'm properly hydrating myself with the fruit, and I'm just like, what just happened? I'm like on another level. It's like amazing.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
if we're dehydrated by just 1%, it starts to impair proper brain function. So like, I'm sure you're even feeling it mentally. Like, wow, I'm so much more clear-headed.
I don't even know what to do. My husband's like, what are you doing? I'm just like, working. I've got this. Like, we're good. Like, I have so much energy. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, looks around, and I'm like in the kitchen with my son, homeschooling at the same time as I'm like wrapping wraps. And I'm like, where did this energy even come from?
I love it.
I love it. It's good. It's good. So, okay. So you debunk, you just help us understand really more about protein, that we can get ample amounts of protein from eating whole foods. Like you said, as long as we're getting not just enough calories from like fruits and vegetables, but also a good variety so that we're getting the mixture of amino acids that build the protein for us. Like that, like it's so simple. And all of us as humans, because we're living in today's society, it's just so easy to overcomplicate it because we're getting messages from every which way, thousands of messages every single day from billboards and from commercials saying like, you need to take these pharmaceuticals. This is something that you have to have, or this is the supplement. You have to have these supplements, like, or, you're going to feel better and have less energy if you take this. And it's really like, we first have to address the diet. We first have to address what the fuel source is first. And then if we've optimized all of that, by eating whole natural foods, mainly fruits and vegetables, then we can look at like other things that can help support us, since we're going through such a, you know, stressful state and we're being bombarded with so many messages. But it's like nobody's teaching the foundations of like, hi, just eat whole natural foods. Like don't get the gluten-free stuff from the boxes. Like those things are not health promoting. That's the raisin effect. That will dehydrate you, right? Like the crackers, the cereals, like it's just, yeah, I don't know. We need to be teaching the fundamentals, and that's why this Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is so amazing. So for people out there that are listening to this and they're finding this information inspiring, and you want to know more about how to get enough protein from plants, get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, because you're going to not only be getting science from Taylor and recipes from foodies and information even about how to make money online from a totally raw vegan entrepreneur, Ted Carr, learning, you know, about even the science behind raw food eating from Dr. Doug Graham. You're going to learn about how to go in the kitchen and make super simple recipes like smoothies and just big salads, and, you know, combining different flavors and textures and fruits and veggies. You're also going to be learning some gourmet techniques of, you know, if you're already in the kitchen, you already love to cook or create food. If you want, you can go and invest in a dehydrator or invest in a good food processor and start making really fun food that's going to take your entire like eating experience up a notch, so that you don't feel like you have to just be eating watermelons and salads all day, like, or, you know, even though that's amazing and fun, or, you know, you can learn how to sprout too. You can learn, you know, Nate and Lissa and other contributors have given like the overview of how to sprout, or how to, if you're into ferments, like you could do that, or how to dehydrate. And it's just so fun. I have so many recipes that I still want to try during this launch, and it's only available through the 11th. So this bundle is like 400 plus raw vegan recipes that are oil-free, free of any added sugar. Any sugar that we are using in the recipes is from fruit and only the whole fruit. So that's amazing. You can be protected. You're not going to be eating processed junk in this from this bundle. Like, you're getting ultimately whole natural food recipes plus all the information I just said for $50, and it's $1,800 worth of content. So it's just unbelievable. So if you want to get the bundle, tap the link in either of our bios and get it, so that you can get the resources you need to start feeling better.
Yeah, and it's super cool because a lot of these, like, you know, people who submitted, you may not have even come across their pages to even know their content. You may end up really liking what it was that they submitted to the bundle. So I think that that's
right.
another kind of pro of doing it, because it kind of broadens your horizon without having to, like, you know, search people on Instagram that could be hard to find, and it's all just right there.
Totally. It's like a gold mine. So if you are seeing us going live with different people that we've, you know, Taylor and I just met, like, we didn't even we didn't know each other prior to this. And now I know that I have somebody that I can refer my clients to if they need, you know, even a higher level of what I'm doing. I'm giving basics, but Taylor's into the science, right? Like, she's guiding people to really understand this at a different level. And so we're all contributing or collaborating our brains together, and we're all really happy to promote each other, because this movement has to happen, and this movement happens by educating you all so that you can then tell other people about the really good news. And the really good news is that nutrition doesn't have to be hard, and it's all about going back to whole natural foods that provide what we need, and they give us the minerals, the vitamins, the protein, all of the building blocks that we need to thrive, plus so much more. And it's also gentler for the planet, and just a really great way to live by eating more plants. So I'm super excited that we got to meet and that we got to share this information with people. Is there anything else from the bundle that you're like dying to try before it's over on the 11th?
You know, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously I got the bundle, so now it's just I got to sit down and like sift through all the stuff. Yeah. So I feel like too, once we're done, like, you know, promoting it, then I'll be like, okay, I can focus on everything and sit down and make all of the recipes. But for me, I love everyone's like unique, everyone kind of takes their unique experience on like what led them to, you know, eat more high raw or raw. And then that's like a reflection of what they submitted to the bundle. And I love seeing everyone's kind of unique experience and reading everyone's little like intro with whatever it is that they submitted, because it's just so cool to me, because, you know, people, and like you said, you've eaten all these different kinds of ways and now you end up here. And that's how it is for so many people. They were like eating so unhealthy, or, you know, trying high protein or different types of eating. And it was like, this is what really just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
And so I love reading everyone's like personal experience. So.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so excited to try more recipes. And you guys, if you want to get so many amazing whole food plant-based recipes that are even raw, and just by the way, if you're not raw and you're freaked out because you hear raw vegan bundle, don't freak out, because the cool thing is you could potentially make some of these recipes in the cooked version. And then also, who doesn't like nice cream? Like, who doesn't like to know how to make frozen banana delights? Like, you don't have to eat ice cream anymore made from dairy. Like, you can literally get your satisfaction and your sweet cravings like crushed from a really good bowl of nice cream. I mean, and if you want to learn how to make it,
I mean, what's the harm in eating raw meals here and there? So
there's
definitely
nothing wrong with it, right?
So like even if you're not raw, even if you're not vegan, it's like you could still make some of these recipes and enjoy them, because they are just so good.
And some of them are so easy, and some of them are super fun and kind of elaborate, and like it takes you out of the fast-paced world that's overwhelming and stressful, puts you into the kitchen, gets you connected to your food, helps you get in parasympathetic state, and helps you just reconnect to what's important, which is fueling your body with beautiful whole food nutrition. So Taylor, with that said, I've got to go and try out a new smoothie recipe before my next live, and we are all so busy just sharing this. So you guys, again, click the link in our bios if you want the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. It's gone forever on the 11th. We won't be able to sell it as one, but you can get individual things after that. They will just be worth $1,800, and that will take you a lot of time to seek us all out. So thanks so much for tuning in. And Taylor, it was so nice to meet you again.
So nice to meet you. It was great to connect.
Take care.
Bye.